My boyfriend, 21, and I, 20, had fancy dinner plans and tickets to the movies to celebrate our one-year anniversary. We were both super excited about it and had planned it a while ago. However, about an hour before our reservation, I got a message from my close friend. He texted me saying he was having a family emergency and he really needed some support, someone to talk to right now, and asked me to come over. I've been friends with this person for years, and I've always been there to support him and cheer him up, as he has some family home issues. So I called my boyfriend, who was driving back from work, to tell him we'd have to cancel because I had to go be there for a friend, and he got mad even though I told him it's out of my hands. I then hung up because I didn't want him to carry on driving and being on a call, especially if he's angry, and said I'll speak to him later. Cut to me coming home a few hours later, and he was pissed. We then got into an argument, and he said that I prioritized another guy over him, and that my friend is a grown man who could have waited until the next morning to have me come over. He also got more mad when I couldn't tell him what the emergency was that ruined what was meant to be a special day, even though that's my friend's personal information and is not my business to share. I felt that it was very insensitive of him to not understand why I had to go and be there for a good friend of mine. And yeah, we lost a bit of money for tickets, but we can just reschedule. But I can see why he's frustrated, as it's our first anniversary and he had planned it a while ago. Plus, I got angry at him for being insensitive, which only heated the argument and made it worse. It's been a few days since the fight, and he's still being frosty to me, waiting for me to apologize, and now I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure if I handled it right. Am I the a-hole? Comments. Was this something that could have waited another day? No, my friend had a big argument with his dad, and without going into lots of detail, my friend struggles with alcohol problems, so I went over to help smooth things over and give him someone to talk to and distract him as he was very upset. When my friend asks for emergency support, I don't ask questions. How could I have enjoyed my night knowing he was struggling anyway? Girl, let me tell you this right now. That boy is using you. If he has an actual emergency, like needing a ride to the hospital, or his parents both just died, or he's so depressed he's standing on a ledge and needs a friend to talk him down, that's one thing. But he has a fight and it might cause him to drink? Damn, that's not an emergency. I was married to an alcoholic. One of the many things you have to learn in any relationship with someone who struggles with alcohol problems is that it is their struggle. If you keep letting them use you as a crutch so they won't drink, they will keep abusing that power over you. They will then blame you the minute you turn your back and they take a drink. His fight with his dad? That's his problem. Him wanting to drink? Also his problem. You cannot and should not always be at his beck and call to keep him from going on a bender. It's not healthy, and you're not helping. You're actually enabling by letting him think that you are always available to be a barrier to drinking. He needs to be able to not drink on his own. So apologize to your boyfriend, sincerely. Explain the situation to him the same way you did to Reddit. Then, get yourself to an Al-Anon meeting and learn how to be a true friend to an alcoholic while not being addicted to caring for the alcoholic. Can you see how this must look to your boyfriend? You ditched him on your one-year anniversary to go to the emotional rescue of another man. That doesn't look good. I'm sure it felt awful. Then you accuse him of not being sensitive and understanding when you are doing the same thing to him. I told him it's out of my hands. It was entirely in your hands. I then hung up. Nice, I couldn't tell him what the emergency was. Wow, really doubling down on the nonsense, eh? Update 6 days later. After reading everyone's comments, I realized I was in the wrong, and I didn't prioritize correctly. I came off pretty defensive at first, but after thinking about what people said, I shouldn't have been. I apologized to my boyfriend and told him nothing like this would ever happen again. He's still pretty mad, but after a serious conversation about setting boundaries between me and this friend, he's willing to move past it. He did say, if it happens again, or I cross any boundaries with this friend, then he's gone. So it obviously did affect him more than I thought. I'm willing to respect this and try to consider my boyfriend's feelings more while still being there for my friend. We have rebooked our tickets and dinner for next weekend, and hopefully it can still be special. What I will say is the emergency message I got from my friend at the time didn't have much detail, so I didn't know how serious it was. Obviously, when I got to his place, he was very upset, but it wasn't life and death, and in hindsight, it could have waited until the next morning. I'm not trying to make any excuses, I just thought some comments were a little harsh. I care for my boyfriend very much, and I'm happy we've got this resolved. The comments about my friend's alcoholism made me realize that I needed to give him the resources to help himself, which I will do if he's open to it. I've never had someone I care about deal with alcohol issues and was a bit naive to think I could help him without professionals. I spoke to my friend on the phone this morning, and even though he was very defensive, he agreed to meet with me to talk about the next steps for him in getting help. His dad is threatening to kick him out of the house, so I think that was a bit of a wake-up call for him. Also, I don't believe my friend had any malicious intent when he asked for my help and won't be cutting him off like some of you suggested. I think healthy boundaries to prevent any misunderstandings will do. That's the update for some of you who were asking for one. Relevant comments. Lol, I love how you still refer to it as an emergency when it very evidently was not an emergency. More like some guy just wanted her attention, and OP just ditched her boyfriend for him. I give her boyfriend a week before he dips. If she would take some accountability, maybe there'd be a chance, but no way the boyfriend continues to tolerate this disrespect. I know I've broken up for less, lol poster relies. How am I disrespecting my boyfriend? I apologized and took accountability that I was in the wrong. I agreed when my boyfriend asked to put boundaries between my friend and I. I have done everything he's asked, so where's the disrespect? Update 2. 7 days later, I wasn't going to update again, but people were asking for one, and everything kinda went to hell. Me and my boyfriend went over to my friend's house to have a talk about getting professional help, and they kept throwing little digs at each other throughout. It ended up escalating to a full-blown argument between them. And I'm not going to lie, they were getting into each other's faces, and I didn't really know what to do. I ended up dragging my boyfriend to leave, and we went back home where we had a pretty big fight. During the argument, my boyfriend had snatched my phone and saw texts my friend was sending me, apologizing about arguing with my boyfriend and asking if I was okay. My boyfriend kinda just snapped and said you either never speak to him again, or we are done. I stated, that's so unfair, when literally, the day before we were moving on from this, and I want to just come to a compromise. He said he was really hurt that I'm not taking the relationship as seriously as he is. To skip a lot of back and forth, we couldn't agree and decided to break up. I didn't actually think we'd break up over this, so I was kind of shocked. But if he wants to throw our relationship away because of this, then fine. I obviously feel pretty down about it. Before this, we never really had any problems, and now it's over because of some shitty decisions that I apologized for. But then I would feel so guilty if I dropped my friend who's struggling when he's always been there for me, especially during a tough time in my teens. My boyfriend clearly didn't believe in me when I said I would never prioritize anyone over him again. I think what some of you guys said was right. The damage was already done, and I didn't want to accept it. I tried to speak to my boyfriend the next couple of days, but he didn't want to hear anything I had to say, which made for a very uncomfortable few days living together. I'm going to stay with a friend for 2 days as she was looking for a roommate anyway. A part of me wants to try and reconcile with my ex-boyfriend, but then a part of me knows I should just let it go because I'm not going to be happy going no contact with my friend, and he's not happy with the friendship. Even if I wanted to go no contact with this friend, it wouldn't have worked. As he's in my friendship circle, he would be at all our get-togethers and try to talk to me anyway. A part of me is confused about my friend now. He provoked my boyfriend when he knew we were up on rocky grounds. I hate that I'm having to question a friendship that I've had for years, but I did say I would give him the benefit of the doubt this time, and maybe I'll end up regretting that. We'll see. However, he's now starting AA meetings, which I'm proud of him for, and I'm hoping he sticks with it. He's really apologetic about the role he played in our breakup, and says he's really going to get his crap together and be a better friend to me. Anyway, I think I'm just going to take some time to myself, process everything, and be single for a bit because it's actually too much stress. Some comments. Make a list, tally, or whatever of every time you canceled with your ex for him. Every instance that you can remember, mark it in some way. When that's done, do the reverse. Mark how many times you canceled with the friend for your ex. No, I appreciate you giving advice still, even though I screw up. Canceling on my ex really wasn't a regular thing. A handful of times maybe. It's hard to remember, to be honest. A handful of times for canceling on your boyfriend for a friend is still too many. I'd say generally, of course. Was it more explicitly at important events or moments though? For example, did you cancel on your ex-boyfriend for the friend for things like birthdays, anniversaries, not just the one-year one you obviously canceled for, Valentine's Day, bank holiday events, etc.? Basically, did the friend suddenly need you on days he knew were important? You would have plans with your ex-boyfriend. Poster. I think for a friend who's been struggling mentally a few times in a year, isn't that bad? No. If it was some sort of special day, I would specifically remember canceling, and I don't, so it was just random days. Have you spoken with your brother yet? Curious what he makes of the situation. Poster. Yeah, my brother tore into me. He thinks I was way too trusting of my friend. He said just because he was a good friend doesn't mean he still is, and I should no longer speak to him because this was intentional. He lectured me for ages, to be honest, but that was the gist of it. He understood why I wanted to defend my friend, but said I damaged badly. So yeah, he was also disappointed in me for ruining a good relationship. He liked my ex a lot for a clingy a hole, so yeah, he didn't hold back. Now he said I should be careful about how my friend is going to respond to this, especially if he's still a bit unstable. Yes, I showed him the posts, and yes, I told him about the jokes. He was honestly a little speechless when I told him, but yeah, he said it was too fresh to be making those jokes. That he was trying to get my ex mad on purpose, and that me not choosing a side, which is choosing a side, is a relationship destroyer. That's why he said the friend has to go, because he knows what he's doing, and I'm not holding my own. You're not very bright, are you? Don't watch a lot of drama movies. A blind bat could see this crap clearly from a mile away. Poster. That's easy for you to say when you aren't in the situation. When it's someone you've grown up with and thought you could trust. Lady, everyone on the internet and even your own damn brother are telling you this friend of yours is no good. His own father wants him out of his house for Pete's sake. Yet you're still over here being buddy-buddy with this guy? I think the only way you'll have a romantic relationship without dropping this guy is by having a relationship with him, which I guarantee will be your doom. He's a clingy asshole alcoholic, and he's not going to stop drinking because he definitely hasn't hit rock bottom. The opposite. In fact, he had a little win in getting rid of your ex and knows you'll always pick him. Reading your replies to the comments are amazing. You keep putting blame on your ex-boyfriend. You keep stomping on someone you already hurt so much, and you keep blaming him? Wow. I do love happy endings. May your ex be happy. Poster. I'm not blaming my ex. I know this is mostly my fault, but at the end of the day, he ended the relationship by giving me an ultimatum days after we discussed how we were going to move past this. I didn't even get a chance to show changed behavior. Obviously, I feel guilty that I hurt someone I really care about, and I'm hurting too, but what's done is done. See, the thing is, everyone was telling you this repeatedly, and you kept blaming your ex, and it looks like you still do. You don't own any of this at all. You owe your ex a huge apology, but you ignore it because he won't talk to me, and you clearly still think you were right. Poster. I don't blame my ex, and I do owe him an apology, but I don't know if that might make it worse. He may just want to be left alone. Yeah, I just really wanted to believe in my friend, but obviously, it's looking like I was wrong. I no longer want to speak to my friend. How do you suggest I tell him that? I've just been ignoring his calls the last 2 days. Like, should I just go speak to him about everything and bring someone with me? You've succeeded in scaring me a little, and I no longer know how he's going to react. But I've also got to try and keep things as pleasant, civil as possible, because we have the same friend group, and I'm still going to see him often. Of course I feel sympathy for my ex. Of course I do. As I said, there's no excuse. I'm obviously so upset with my friend, and if I could have it my way, I would never see him again. But we have the same friends. We hang out in a group all the time. I'm allowed to acknowledge how awkward that is going to be. Yeah, I'm going to apologize to my ex for what I did and how I hurt him. Even if he doesn't respond, I want to give him that closure. Do it over text. Tell him you've thought about it and you can't forgive him for ruining your relationship. Keep it about that. If you can, try and get him to admit he did it on purpose. That way you have proof for your other friends. Also, I'm sorry I scared you, but this world can be a bad place with bad people in it. Sometimes fear is a gift. It can keep you alive. It's panic that will get you ended. Keep calm and don't panic. And for the love of God, don't let him be alone with you. Guess then that there is no chance of reconciliation for you and your ex-boyfriend. Poster: I'm not sure. I don't think so. I would want to, but it feels like the damage is done, and this would hang over our heads. I don't know if he would even talk to me at the moment.